Well, we're going to look at the Super Bee again, just give you an update on a couple of things that have happened since last time I did a video, which isn't really a lot, but definitely worthy of an update. I haven't had a video out in a little while, so let's see what we got going on here. So, and a few trouble things that we ran into. Battery tray, brand new battery tray, got to get the bolts to hold it down. Not sure if I showed that in the last video or not. Got the air cleaner on it. That's nothing new. You guys seen that before. But the trans cooler is installed. Just kind of a universal transmission cooler. The lines are in place and on the transmission. I want to go through and get some zip ties and maybe some tape to reduce any sort of vibration on that, because that'll definitely be annoying if it's rattling going down the road, but I don't think it should be that big of a problem, especially if I end up going ahead and tying them together. So, but I got dipstick tube is in. I had a all nice silver painted one, but that one, the O-ring wasn't right, so I had to screw around with that a little bit. I have a carburetor on it right now that is borrowed just to get it running from Bigfoots and Mopars. It's a Holly 750, just something to get it running. Not a end goal, but definitely thankful for his help with that. Just got nothing inside's different. Just got some of my extra parts in there. I was checking, obviously the glass is dirty, I'm gonna have to clean it, but I was checking with the door closed how the glass meets up and fits, and it fits pretty good, so that's a positive thing. The rear end, so I took it apart. The shoes were okay, and I thought I had another set and I didn't have the right ones, so I ended up just putting it back together the way it was with new wheel cylinders. They're mostly bled. I need to go through and do a final bleed on them, but they're mostly bled. I got to cut this exhaust out. I couldn't finagle it out the way it was. You know, there was a clamp that holds the section with the muffler there to the actual tailpipe, but that seems to have rust welded itself together, so that's always a real great thing. The 391 gears are in place, so that's all good. Happy that got that taken care of. And gas tank is one strap's installed. The other one was fighting me a little bit, but it's mostly installed. I got to get the rubber hoses done on the front and plug in the sending unit. I got the new sending unit pounded in place. The other drum, the other side, same thing. Assembled it back together. Adjusted the end play so there's just the tiniest bit of wiggle room, but not hardly any at all. So yeah, and then I did end up, as you can see, painting the drums red, just like I did on the Roadrunner. And definitely consider looking at a couple other videos on this car, and also have a 69 Roadrunner right there. So a lot of stuff like that on the channel, but that's all that's been accomplished as far as real big stuff. I got the transmission mount in place, had to undo the cross member, get those 2 bolts on the transmission and get that figured out. I redid the spark plug wires and they ended up looking pretty terrible, so I'm gonna have to tie them up and route them a little bit better, so we'll see how that goes. A few things left to do and a few problems we encountered along the way. So header was fine, but this back bolt, as you can see, obviously it doesn't match, but that's not a big deal. Was having a problem with that bolt, so we're gonna actually just probably get a new, I'd like to just order a new set of header bolts because these ones are not ideal. I'd like to find a small head hex, not this 12 point or 18 point or whatever it is. I don't know, that's something to be considered. Kickdown linkage needs to be finished. I have the main kind of center pivot there in place. I need to set up the rod that goes from there to the lever and the rod that goes from here up to this area here. And I have the bracket that goes there on that intake bolt, so I have to get that in place, which will also then hold the throttle bracket in place, the throttle cable, excuse me. So that's a couple other things. Radiator hoses, need to get that done. I have the top hose, but I need to get the bottom hose. I have a whole pile of hoses. I'm sure I got one that'll fit. So that shouldn't be too difficult. Fan and fan pulley. I'm debating back and forth. I do have a clutch fan, but it's not right and it looks funny. So I'm thinking I might end up doing just a standard fan for now. And this radiator should be pretty good cooling, so that should be fine. But also at the same time, I'd like to make sure I have good stuff going on because this will not have a shroud. There's no real place to mount a shroud. I guess you could mount it on this kind of top rail here. You could drill a hole. But as of right now, I don't intend on running a shroud. So that's definitely something to consider. Like I said, radiator hoses, and got to get the nuts on the starter. Then I got the positive cable here, and I got the negative cable all set up there and everything. And that's all that's needed to get the engine to fire and run, other than fuel line. So I've got my rubber fuel line that'll run up to the carb. I do have a hard line I might adapt in place somewhere. I'm still not sure on that, but I'll probably just run a straight rubber fuel line for that short little span for the time being, and I've done that before without any problems, so we'll see how that goes. Nothing else to do over on this side other than mounting this ballast resistor. I got to get a screw for that, so, and just other detail stuff. But then the dash is, I have partial wiring installed on the dash, so that's good. I've got some detail work left to do on it, and then it's ready to install and get the bulkhead plugged in and get your ground wires in place, and then I could actually fire it up off a key. So we will see how that goes, and then from there it's plug the hoses for the gas tank and get some gear oil in the rear end. If you have any recommendations for gear oil in the rear end, let me know. I have not myself ever dealt with that before, so that's new for me. It's a 391 Sure Grip behind an automatic. Not that I don't think that really matters, but 391 Sure Grip behind an automatic, behind a 500 horsepower 440 with 550 torque, if any of those factors really affect it too much. For anybody that's got experience with that, let me know. And then get the gas tank mounted the rest of the way. Get a small little piece of fuel line between the hard line and the fuel pump, and probably adapt a filter between them. And then a few other details. Throw on the wheels and tires again, and then throw the front clip on and get a windshield. Doesn't sound like it's all that much, but it definitely all adds up. So, but yeah, I'm gonna kind of just leave it at that. There's a lot left to do, but you could kind of see the finish line from here. So, but I don't know. Definitely let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing and all that stuff. It definitely helps out the channel and stuff, and I really appreciate everybody that does that. So definitely consider doing that, and I will see you guys in the next one.